It's much easier for Barack Obama to change some of the rules that the world is based on than for me or you, just because people will listen. And that itself is a product of some of the rules that the world is based on. So there's this sort of endless cycle where we're constantly changing these rules, we're constantly changing the way social life works in little bitty ways that are themselves framed by the way social life already works. You just can't have international politics unless you have a set of ideas. You have to have a set of ideas about there are states have foreign policies. When I want to talk to a state, I go talk to the head of the state. I don't just talk to a random person from that state. You have an idea that there are authority structures, there are legitimate governments, and that's how you carry out international relations. And the interesting part for a lot of constructivists is, the sort of question of how much of that belief structure do you have to share before you can have international relations at all? I had the example of, if everybody woke up tomorrow and decided the US didn't exist anymore, right? The end of the Cold War, that was kind of what happened to the USSR, is people got up one day and they started thinking that maybe this shouldn't exist anymore. And so this, or people, actually what happens is people get up one day and they decide that maybe it's not that important that that wall's there. And they start going through the wall. And then the soldiers that are guarding the wall decide, well, maybe it's not that important that I shoot these people when they go through the wall. And then it goes from there, and the government starts deciding, well, all right, maybe it's not that important that we keep these people out of the wall. And then it continues, and people start deciding, well, maybe it's not that important that we're part of the USSR anymore. And, very, very rapidly, this whole house of cards disintegrates. And there's all sorts of reasons why. There were economic problems, there were political issues, and this should not at all be taken to think that there weren't. But at the end of the day, the USSR would have kept going until everybody decided it was time to stop. And, 1989 to 1991, they decided it was time to stop. And it stopped.